Well, good evening again, everyone. We have a room full of vibrant energy today. We have wonderful followers on our Facebook Live page and those watching us on Zoom and later on YouTube. And that vibrational energy that we're sharing is one that helps support the growth and development ourselves and our lives in a deeper and more beautiful way. Now, if we knew it all, how many of us feel like we do sometimes? If we knew it all or could see it all, there would be no need to be curious. No need to have an imaginative mind. So as we go on this journey this month, let's appreciate the unknown. For without it, life would be just so darn dull. Imagine if we knew everything. Curiosity is one of the most basic calls of life. Truly, it is a superpower. As we move through this month, we will be pulled by curiosity to look below the surface, to look within, to release out into the world the gifts that come with curiosity, and lean into the wonderment of living each day with a heightened awareness of how curiosity ignites and illumines our lives. As we connect passionately with our superpower of curiosity, the excitement of what could be moves us from complacency and inspires our greater yet to be. In 2006, the author Elizabeth Gilbert, she wrote the best-selling book, Eat, Pray, Love. It was turned into this magnificently beautiful movie, very popular, finding love and exploring life on different continents of this beautiful planet we live on. And she wrote a few other books too. But after that, she got a little lost on what the inspiration was going to be for her next thing. When the bar gets set, when you're rubbing elbows with Oprah, the pressure kind of builds, I would think. She felt uninspired, and she described her daily life in this way. I poked around for a while in my everyday chores, writing emails, shopping for socks, resolving small emergencies, sending out birthday cards. Check, I do all those things, and they're all good. I took care of the ordinary business of life. But as time ticked by, she said, and an impassioned idea still had not ignited me, I didn't panic. I did what I've done so many times before. I turned my attention away from passion and towards curiosity. Passion is one of those highs, right? And sometimes we fantasize about it and we set the bar high, like, we remember those peak moments in our lives when passion, when we're just bubbling up, we're in the zone, we're 100% there. And it's a lot, and it's magnificent, and it's beautiful. While curiosity on the other side has other benefits to bring us. Moving from that endorphin rush of passion, it can pull us to a craving that's just sometimes too far to reach. So Elizabeth asked herself, she said, Liz, is there anything you're interested in right now? Anything, she said, even a tiny bit, no matter how mundane or how small. And it turned out she found it. What came to her, what that still small voice said was gardening. Okay. She says, I know, contain your excitement, everyone. I know I wrote Eat, Pray, Love, and I've had movies, but what was calling her in that moment of curiosity was gardening. Now, when we get those little ideas that come to us, we can be like, too small, not enough, or not even notice it, right? If we're not paying attention. So she asked, what is calling my attention now? And it was gardening. She had just moved to a small town in rural New Jersey. Yes, I'm from Jersey. There's a lot of trees, a lot of farms, and a lot of rural. along with the turnpike.
Joyce.
Yep.
Yeah.
So she bought an old house and it had an old, nice backyard. And so she wanted to plant a garden in that backyard. Now, she had remembered gardening when she was a child, and it was her mother's thing. And she did everything she could to not have to help. And her mom did immense, beautiful vegetable gardens. And instead, she was called to beautiful flowers. So here's what Elizabeth says about curiosity. I think curiosity is our friend, and it teaches us how to become ourselves. It's a very gentle friend, and a very forgiving friend, and a very constant friend when we let ourselves stay in that zone. Passion is not so gentle, not so forgiving, and sometimes just not available. And so when we live in a world that's come to fetishize passion above all, she said, there's a great deal of pressure around that. Curiosity, however, is more subtle. It's observant. It's a more receptive energy. And with curiosity, we can look and feel what is quietly calling our attention. A curious approach, Ernest Holmes said, can also help us let go of fear. Ernest Holmes, the founder of our teaching, said, a curious approach can also help us let go of fear. Because what holds us back from digging into the things that are calling us, our curiosity, our interest, or our passions, is often the F word, right? Fear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we some of me heard from the peanut gallery, the other F word here. And you can curse at this church. We're good with that. What Ernest Holmes also said is these thoughts, ideas, feeling, hopes, expectations, doubts, fears, and faiths make up that thing within us which is attracting or repelling certain experiences. So we have a lot of ideas coming out. We say, I want that. That's calling my attention. I'm going in this way. And fear pops up. We're now out of the attracting energy and we're into the repelling energy. I do it all the time, right? Attract, repel, I want, I'm scared, no, yes. And here's the deal, Elizabeth did not have a burning desire to have a garden. She was just curious about it.
Mm-hmm.
She followed that curiosity and planted a few things. Then she became interested in the brightest, showiest flowers that Jersey can offer. Then she got really curious. She wanted to know stuff about them. She learned that her irises were not indigenous to New Jersey. They had, in fact, originated in Syria. Her lilacs and tulips had lines that went back to Turkey. So here's what she said. I started running background checks on every single plant in my garden. Yeah, this is making me think of my mom, because my mom knew everything about plants. You ask her anything and she'd know about it. She'd know where it came from. So thank you, Mom, for dropping in today. So she said she started taking notes on what she learned, and her curiosity grew. What intrigued her, she realized, was not so much the garden itself, but the botanical history behind it. She says, a wild and little known tale of trade and adventure and global intrigue started to take place.
Oh.
I love that. It gives me goosebumps. This could be a book, right? She said. So serendipity led her to expert resources then that fueled her curiosity. You know, there's colleges nearby, there's museums nearby, and she started to find just the right resources that matched her energy and creativity for what she was fueled by. So 3 years of research and travel later, she started writing The Signature of All Things, a novel about a fictional family of 19th century botanical explorers.
Oh.
And all that started with her being blah and curious, appreciating the mundane of her life and asking, what is calling my attention now? It was a novel that she never saw coming. It started with nearly nothing. She said, I did not leap into that book with my hair on fire. I inched towards it, clue by clue. But when she looked up from her scavenger hunt and began to write, she was completely consumed with passion about 19th century botanical exploration.
Cool.
I love this creative process. I mean, not in a million years would you think, I'm going to write this story. It didn't just drop in. She was called by beauty, which is one of the foundational principles of God. Beauty called her, right? All this started just because she wanted to plant a garden. So let's look at her example. Often we may be looking for that next big thing, that passion that consumes us. Why? Because we see movies about it. We watch CBS Sunday Morning and we hear the great stories of the person who at age 72 wrote their first novel and was consumed with passion. Well, let's remember there were 17 years of stewing before that, right? And something said, follow this call. And then we set the bar so high that we let our subtle fears and limitations hold us back. We can often compare ourselves to what we think we should be doing, right? We can should ourselves to death, as opposed to just following those simple threads. And instead, we can simply become curious about what's quietly calling for our attention and follow those threads to reveal opportunities that we may never have imagined. When our desire to know becomes stronger than the fear of the unknown, we are drawn to reveal a way to it. When our desire to know more becomes stronger than our fear of the unknown, we are drawn. Something said garden. We can then lean into our conviction that the universe is for us. We can lean into our faith and allow our fear to be morphed into a sense of enthusiasm and excitement. In Thoughts Are Things, Ernest Holmes said, a limitless creativity exists and expresses through all that is. Agree? A limitless creativity exists and expresses through all that is. Yeah, we're done. Let's talk over. It is always seeking a fuller channel of expression through you. That limitless creativity, as Ernest Holmes describes, that is expressing through all that is, can only burst into this world uniquely through you. So we have to recognize that it exists and accept that action into our lives. As we grow and expand this knowledge of our world, then we start to grow personal power. That power comes through us as we let go of fear and accept these things. And from a place of security, we are free to dive deeper, discover new things, and have ideas built upon ideas as we uncover the beauty of the world. Like in those lilacs and those irises that have roots that go across the world. So, do you want to play with our curiosity a little bit today? Right. Let's turn off the TV for a little bit. Let's not go down the rabbit holes of unintentional scrolling. Guilty. In case you haven't noticed, everything you read on the internet is not necessarily true.
No.
Right. I read that in a book.
You read that on the internet.
I read that on the internet, yeah. Let's take our curiosity off into the library. Have you ever just gone to the downtown library here in Tulsa? Oh my gosh. I always walk out with a stack. Don't always read them, but I always walk out with a stack. But that's an intuitive way, right, to take our curiosity in this building of knowledge and creativity and information and walk in that door, take a deep breath and say, all right, spirit, show me the way. What's calling my attention? What am I curious? What's going to illuminate my curiosity today? We can go to the museum or, Dolores, a used bookstore. Gardner's Books in Tulsa, Oklahoma, shameless plug. Wander the shelves. And Dolores, you probably had a book fall off the shelf in front of you.
Yes.
Right? You know, where it's like, it's right here. The information's right there for you. Okay. Spring is coming. We can feel it despite our sub-zero, close to zero temperatures and ice all week. Buy some seeds, dig some dirt, plant some seeds, see if that one, is that what calls you, right? So when our curiosity is ignited, no matter how small, take that look and see what it is. The magic of our life is unfolding through those little things that call for our attention. And then we can turn around and look behind us and say, wow, that book, that conversation, that song I heard, that nudge that said to go do this thing, then leads you to the place where you are today. And yes, we will have those moments of passion ignited, lifted up, ready to go, on fire with this next great expression. But know that it's not going to last. It doesn't always last. Thank goodness we'll be exhausted. And we can roll through by calling in, asking spirit, what is that next great expression for me now? How can I serve today, sweet spirit? Let's pray. Divine Spirit, infinite presence of all life that is. It is the Alpha and the Omega. It is the ever-expanding universe. It is the brilliance of a green comet in the sky and the beauty in a tiny grain of sand beneath our feet. I know that spirit as source is creativity. It is life. It is an omnipresent power that has within it the answers to all of our questions. And I know that it can only have its experience in, as, and through us, including those of us here at the Center for Spiritual Living, and those who are just taking a breath anywhere in the world. And so I call on the intuitive energy of curiosity today, knowing that as we move through our lives, we take those moments of calm and quiet and see what's calling our attention. There is magic in those moments. And we also ask and know of the one life, that all that we need to take that step into the revealing that path of curiosity is available to us now. I know that that's available to us as we know, endeavor, and lean into a world that truly works for all. And so let's set our intention in spirit to be that place of service to the one life, so that our hearts may be lifted and all on this planet are full of health and security and safety and food and shelter and medical care and abundant resources for all. And so I give thanks for this prayer. I give thanks for the curiosity that led us here today. And I give thanks in knowing that all of our prayers are answered in the one mind. So we let this prayer go into the fertile soil that grows those lilacs and irises. We let it go, knowing it's done. And if you'd like to anchor this prayer with me, please join me in saying, and so it is. Amen. Thank you, guys.